Oh boy. So I listened to the Anita Hill trial before yesterday, and I was deeply struck by how similar the two trials were and how little progress there has been made in 27 years. As a victim and a survivor of sexual assault myself, I am feeling particularly helpless in this moment, just knowing that the people who are in the highest positions of power in this country are deeply opposed to listening to women. And I fundamentally believe that everyone in that room yesterday believed Dr. Blasey. I don't hesitate for a second to think that they couldn't see that she was absolutely credible, she was composed. Everything that she said had a ring of truth to it, and it was just a clear demonstration that they didn't care. It wasn't about belief, it wasn't about proving anything, it was about who do we want to have power in this country, and at this time and place right now, women are still not the answer. I believe Ford because she lays it out in the most plausible way in terms of she understands human psychology, she understands how memory works. I had a extremely similar experience when I was in high school, and to be fair, I was in high school a lot more recently than she was, but it's still like trauma is burned into your brain. And the way that he presented himself yesterday in that court hearing, even if it wasn't true, that should have been enough to say that this man is not qualified to be on the highest court in this nation for years to come, because he was so impulsive, vengeful, angry, blaming the Clintons. It was not a demonstration of someone who you want to be making rational decisions in favor of the betterment of the public. Yeah, I think that partisan politics have made it so that people on both sides are 100% sure that they are right and that the people on their side are right. So it's less so about like finding the nuances of things and more so about sticking to your side. And I think that that's prevalent in every political case that's going on right now in terms of gun violence and immigration. It's less so about like finding the nuances in the issues and more so about our faction is the right faction, and so therefore whoever is on the opposing side of us is absolutely wrong. And I think that that was very much evident in the trial yesterday. It was Republicans versus Democrats, and that's where it is so important for us, and that's why my roommate and I are out here today to push people to make some phone calls, talk to their friends on campus who are residents of the states, Alaska, Tennessee, West Virginia, Arizona, to Maine, to call their senators to let them know that the people who are on the fence, like those are the voices that matter, because in this moment it is so either black or white, like there's no gray area. So that's why the few that are on the few that are still making up their minds, that's who's going to be deciding the political climate for the next couple decades, which is a terrifying thought, but that's why we actually have to do something about it right now. I agree with Dr. Ford when she said that, looking into the specifics of some of the things that she was saying would lend credibility to her statements. And so in that regard, I think that it makes perfect sense, because I don't want to go down the line of like, oh, if it was a man in her shoes, like we would obviously be doing that, but that's what I think that if this were a woman at stake, we can just look to the 11-hour Hillary Clinton deposition, for example. Like every single minute detail of the Benghazi incident was combed over with a fine-tooth comb. So the fact that we are holding men to a different standard. I could go on forever about the ways in which we are being so hypocritical in the way that we are treating Judge Kavanaugh versus the President of the United States. I think that we need to do everything in our power to demonstrate that we are fighting to believe women, and at this point I feel like it's much just more of, I'm sorry, I'm distracted by my roommate. I'm like, I have a lot of things going through my head right now. Yeah. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is if he were to be confirmed, the state of women's reproductive rights would be in dire circumstances. I think that he would be the swing vote in terms of keeping Roe v. Wade in play and whether or not you believe that abortion is okay, like that's not applicable in this sense. Like, please, like, have your own beliefs, but when it's illegal, it doesn't prevent women from having abortions. The only way to make sure that women aren't dying from abortions is to make them safe and legal. Women are going to have abortions no matter what. That's a fact of the matter. You can care what, it doesn't matter whether you think that they're right or wrong, but they're gonna have them no matter what, and I would just prefer to have women live. What a radical idea. I mean, if you're gonna not let them have abortions, then maybe you should let them have childcare and paid maternity leave. Oh no, we can't have those things either. Well then, what are we supposed to do if we're not also going to be having healthcare and childcare? Like, you're not giving us any options. It makes the most sense in the world to make sure that a procedure that women are going to have no matter what should be safe. I think people my age group need to vote. They need to get out there and vote. In the 2016 elections, I had several classmates and peers who were registered in Florida, Pennsylvania and Ohio, and they didn't even vote. And so it doesn't matter who you're voting for. I really need people to get out there and vote and express their beliefs, because that's the only way that we can actually foster democracy in this country.